Hello and welcome to Outnumbered. It is another wonderful day again, and I am so excited that we are here. My name is Ramsey Enoch, and of course, I have Rachel Abia right here. Good morning, Rachel.
Good morning, Ramsey.
TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. All right, good morning, Michael Deacon.
Good morning, Ramsey.
All right, let's quickly bring you to speed with the headlines for the day as we get started with the Guardian newspaper. And the big story there says how poor planning, corruption ruin 200 billion naira school feeding initiative in states. You can get the details of that on page 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper. Then this one says reps panel orders ministries to refund 85 billion naira COVID-19 fund. That money, I don't know. It's like it went into private pockets. People were taking advantage of the situation back then. And this morning, ministries are being asked to refund it right now. The details you can get on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. And I have this one which says a court grants Emefiele travel permission as federal government files fresh charges. Page 3, you can get that. And finally, Supreme Court dismissed ADC suit, rules on Gombe, Nasarawa Goba case today. And you can get the details of that on page 3. That's the much we'll be taking. Let's get to the next paper now.
Yes, from the Vanguard newspaper this morning, it says AFCON cracker, Super Eagles spec relevant, Brighton qualification chances. That was yesterday. Of course, Super Eagles are actually second on the group stage of the very group. And still on Vanguard, it says impact of fuel subsidy removal, tough on Nigerians. President Tinubu, I wonder if it's just now that he's considering that he has a great impact on Nigerians. Of course, we see that it gets to arrest the situations of the subsidy removal. Still on the Vanguard, Ibadan explosion. Police declare owners of building wanted. I think it's a move in the right direction. And of course, additional book, your 8-year rule was biased, unjust, nepotic. Clark tells Buhari. That can be found on page 12 of the Vanguard newspaper. And then finally, we won't allow CBN print money, says budget minister. You can find that on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. These and top story, you can ask vendors so you can get more details on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Over to you, Rachel.
Thank you, Michael. So let's just move straight into the Punch newspaper. On the Punch, the big story here says public outrage grows as kidnapping epidemic worsens. Under that story, 12 Zamfara varsity students, officials, 19 Abuja victims, 4 Akwa Ibom coppers among captives. Tinubu urged to tackle insecurity, food crisis at all costs. Bandits attack 10 Kaduna villages. Still on the Punch newspaper, reps order ministries to return 85 billion naira COVID-19 funds. You can find that on page 15 of the Punch newspaper. Oil firms Unity Bank leads as market cap hits 50 trillion naira. That's on page 25 of the Punch newspaper. And the last story I'll be taking this morning says federal government plans over $3 trillion for energy transition. That's on page 22 of the Punch newspaper.
All right, thank you very much, Rachel and Michael. We will go on a quick break. When we return from the quick break, we'll bring to you the big story for the day. So all you have to do is just get to the paper stand. Pick any of these papers, the ones we've taken and the ones we've not taken. Anyone that catches your fancy at all, pick it up and just peruse through it. We will be back after this break for the big story. When I say it's big, it's really big. Don't go nowhere. We are returning soon.
Follow us on our social media handles at Oweleketv. Visit our website at www.oweleket.tv for a thrilling journey. Oweleketv, rising star at the fairground.
It's good to have you back from that break. It's still Outnumbered live on your screen. Well, Ramsey, Rachel, and Michael, we are in the studio right here to talk about the big story. The big story is on the Guardian newspaper where it says poor planning. That's one. Corruption. Ruin 200 billion naira school feeding initiative in states. You could remember what actually happened in 2016. with the Buhari administration when they launched the school feeding program. The idea was actually to address the growing number of out-of-school children and malnutrition. That was the major reason for the launch. Then out-of-school children was numbering into 20 million, as the case may be as at then, but in about 7 years of the initiative, over 200 billion naira worth of meals for school children attendance register of pupils is far from commensurate. Despite this big money that has been put into this program, we are yet to see any significant change. If you could remember back in 2019, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development was created with Sadia Umar Farouk as the minister, and some of the functions that was being performed, some of the things happened that was being handled by the Vice President's office were channeled to that ministry. And according to the Israel minister, about 12 million was spent monthly to feed over 10 million pupils during the school term in over 53,000 schools, with a pledge to reach additional 5 million pupils to get 100,000 cooks. This is employment coming to some people by this program. 100,000 cooks to be employed, all right? But the question is, were they really employed? How were they being treated? How did they really go? And of course, a lot of items were bought, so many things were used. And at the end of the day, it was obvious that this school feeding program didn't go the way it was planned. And the reason why it was actually launched, it never met that purpose. Now, let's look at it. We can see what is happening to Better Aid right now. Meaning, there are so many things, I beg your pardon, that has been going on that we need to look into. So at this point in time, we will add our voice to the conversation. My colleagues will talk about it. The question is, this money, was it really used for this? Who were the supervisors? All right. How did they supervise this program? The children, are they happy about the program? The cooks, did the program on a general note, was able to see the light of the day? Let's add our voice to the conversation.
Okay, so it's worthy of note that, this program is actually a good idea coming from the government. So this was something that was launched in 2005 with the help of the United Nations Children Education Fund, and it was reintroduced during Buhari's tenure. But now we're hearing stories here and there. I need us to understand that this school feeding program is not only done in Nigeria. It's done in so many other African countries, Rwanda and other countries. And when I was going through different reports, in Rwanda, when they were talking about the challenges that they go through, that they face, the challenges they mentioned were use of firewood for cooking, inadequate infrastructure, low level of community participation and all. But in Nigeria, our own challenge is corruption, improper planning and all. And talking about corruption, we already know that it's on all levels, it's everywhere. And whenever the government comes with any initiative, any idea, we want to do this for the people, we want to do this for school children, you just know that there's something involved. We just know that there's something involved. When they come out with the budget later, we know, like the figures you were mentioning, we keep hearing billions and millions of naira. If you want to really look into this food, have you even seen pictures of the kind of food? Wasn't it in a certain state we heard about food poisoning, still on this school feeding program? So it's not a new thing. We already know why this whole thing, what the United Nations, what they brought it for. The initiative was a good one. In fact, if they were to follow the plan why this idea was brought into Nigeria, it would have been a beautiful one. But of course, just like the same thing that happened during the COVID-19 palliatives and so many other things, everything they'll always corner it. And so it's not a new thing how corruption, how improper planning and everything ruined this whole plan. Let them leave these children. They said, okay, it's to bring out of school children into schools. Okay, they are sharing food in school, so I want to come to school so that I'll come and eat, and then it's a way of bringing children. But how many of these children have we been able to even bring into schools? Lastly, Ramsey, this kind of initiative, like if you go on the streets, you see some guys, let me not mention tribe now, you see some guys selling United Nations school bag that's United Nations designed to give school children
free of charge.
You see it all over the place they're selling, and you're wondering how did this school bag got into the hands of these people, and now it's for sale. So it's not even all of these things. We already know what it is. Corruption, just a way to siphon money, just a way to get money into their pockets.
Just a way to get money into their pocket. That's the reason they do some of these things. All right, let me get to Michael now. Michael, this program couldn't see the light of day. Better Edu came. I watched her on one of the media, and she spoke extensively about this school feeding program, that they were going to come up with something different, something fascinating that everyone will love. But then, look at the charges she's facing right now. What is the faith of this program as it's were?
Yeah, it's a testimony to the fact that initiative of government should always have the true intention, and of course, in addressing issues. There's a foundation to why this initiative was launched, in Nigeria, and of course, people who launch this have other motive. They have the motive to be able to give contracts, to award contracts to people, to their political associate and all of that. So it's worrisome when a fantastic initiative like this is sacrificed on the altar of political motivations or settlement or whatever it might be. Because the contractors, I will speak to you, across the state are members of APC, people that are managing this in schools and all of that. So there's no how this can work. So all of them wants to benefit from the government. It's something that was not able to make a minister. They want to get the money that they have given them to take off schools in their state as their own allocation from the federal government. So they don't have the passion that this thing is meant to address this. Over 2.5 million children are suffering from malnutrition. That's from the report from UNICEF. And then when you now look at the analysis of this affecting the children in school and all of that, you see that it was worrisome. The intention was genuine. But people that are doing this are not truthful to Nigerians, and I think that's just the problem. We are the problem of this country. We are the problem of whatever initiatives that we have. And until we fix this, there's no how initiative can actually work in Nigeria. That's my take. All
right, in other words, there are good programs, but no good people to execute these programs. And that is because of corruption. Well, as it is, this is the size of outnumbered today. But then what we should know is that Nigeria is our country. If you're being given any assignment, carry it out to the latter. Don't suck the system dry because of corruption. Let's think positively and do everything that will move this nation forward. Thank you for being part of Outnumbered today. Just know that you can drop your comment in the comment section. Turn on the notification button and follow up with everything happening from Oweleketv. My name is Ramsey Enoch, and this is Rachel Abioye and Michael Edikan. We'll come your way again, and that's going to be on Monday. Bye-bye for now.